Olá pessoal, estamos aqui com Nolan Bushnell, criador do Atari e considerado o pai dos videogames. Hello Mr. Bushnell, thank you so much for having me.
Great being here.
Taking your time to answer our questions. So you said once in a BAFTA panel that games were really inclusive at the beginning and ended up making some choices that excluded part of the public. Do you think now with mobile games, internet and casual games, they are becoming inclusive again?
Absolutely. I think that not only are they becoming inclusive, but there's enough diversity that there's a game type for everybody that wants to play. And I think that's a good thing. And a lot of the games are becoming quite educational. Like, I really think that every young kid should be playing Minecraft. I've got a 6-year-old granddaughter that just loves it. And I think you learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about educational games. You work with that now, right? Using technology and games to improve learning. Is it hard to convince the schools to come aboard the project?
It's almost impossible. The school system is so bureaucratic and so full of politics that it's probably one of the few places where they don't care what's better. And it's really bad.
Should be the one place that they care what's better, right?
You know, there will be, in the next few years, there will be a huge difference between societies that embrace computer education and those that restrict it. And they'll feel it by having a population that becomes obsolete.
And we will be too late when they find out, do you think?
It's never too late, but you don't win the race if you have a late start.
Yeah.
And it'll look like your society is not competitive, and your population will get poorer compared to the rest of the world.
So you also talk a lot about games being elegant in its simplicity and not being overdone or overcomplicated.
Correct.
How do you think games are doing now in that matter?
Well, I believe that a lot of people who are casual gamers, they don't want the complexity. But if you're really a heavy-duty gamer, you appreciate the complexity. So, you know, I hate to be, you know, they always say, always avoid always, and you know, never say never. I think that what we always have to do is celebrate the difference.
Yes, there are games for everybody. Do you agree with that casual gaming term that people, I know some people don't agree, they think everybody is a gamer independent of playing like simple games or more hardcore games. Do you agree with that term of casual games?
Yes, I do. Casual games are games which you really don't have any instructions. You can sit up and you can play for 10 minutes or 3 minutes and it's fun. A lot of games, it takes you an hour to just kind of get started. You know, and that's clearly not casual.
You're a man that is always looking forward, way forward than other people. What do you think the next big trend in video games will be?
Well, I think that VR is kind of in its infancy. I think AR it was kind of interesting with Pokemon Go. Tremendously successful, but the game was not thick.
Okay,
you know,
I agree.
You know, it was really it was collecting, but then once you collect it, you say, boy.
Exactly. Done. I'm so glad you said that. I thought exactly the same thing. You collected, and what do I do with that?
Yeah, done. And I think that there will be some really good rebirth of augmented reality games that have a little more substance to it. I'm a believer that the new things like Amazon Echo and Google Home, where you have extraordinary speech recognition with a back end that allows you to do some programming, will bring kind of new kinds of games, like voice activated.
The holodeck from Star Trek?
Huh?
Holodeck from Star Trek, something like that? That would be cool.
Or just think about, now you have a Amazon Echo who is a dungeon master.
Yes, that would be really cool.
Wouldn't that fun?
Yes, yes.
So those are the sorts of things that I think are going to be enabled by these new platforms.
And about VR, do you think it's been well used the way that it is now? You said it's only starting, but is it starting in the new, in the right tracks?
All I know is that my company's doing it right and everybody else is doing it wrong.
So you're working with VR now?
Oh yeah.
Can you
It's
tell us more
called
about
Modal, M-O-D-A-L VR. Go into our website, blow your socks off. And we've got a Pong game.
Pong game on VR?
In VR, where you are the paddle, you have to run back and forth to get the ball.
How, do you have to actually run?
Absolutely, you'll have to actually run.
That's cool.
It's really cool. And we just released a new one called Ghost Manor, which you are walking around physically.
You actually have to walk.
You actually have to walk, and you're exploring this creepy house, and you will get scared. Because the creepy
How
things
can people
happen.
try this? Where are they available?
Well,
Do you
right
know?
now we're just in some amusement parks in California.
Oh, okay.
But next Halloween we'll come down here. You guys celebrate Halloween, don't you?
Yes, we do. We also do. One thing you said one time in an interview, I believe it was the last time we were in Brazil, you said that, every country has its culture, that it exports to the world, cuisine, music, movies, and also games. And that US has the games that it exports, Japan found its identity. How do you think Brazil is going? Are we in our way to have our own gaming identity?
I don't know is the real answer. But there's, Brazil has a rich culture. And whenever I think of Brazil, I think of Mardi Gras, and samba. And I've often wondered, is there a Mardi Gras game? Can you export some of the feeling and some of the excitement in a game construct? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe those are things that, since we have it every year, all the time, we don't value like you do. So you see that as something really amazing, and we just see it as something that happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have something else that's really cool.
What?
The Amazon River.
Yes.
And Piranha.
Have you been there?
No, but I want to.
I haven't also. It's a shame, I know. Now, talking a little bit about Atari, they're coming with a new console. Have you seen anything about it? The hybrid between...
I've seen the specs, and it looks like it's going to be very, very good and very cost effective, which I also like, because whenever you make something affordable, that also becomes inclusive.
Yes, and do you think that Atari was like the first console and all, but now we have Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. How do you think is the room for Atari to come back to this console market? Well, the brand is obviously still really strong.
Well, I think what happens now is the business is so big that you can have a small niche and it's still pretty good. Mm-hmm. If you look at the Xbox One, you kind of know what it is. Yes. It's quite expensive, but it does a lot of good things. PS4 does a lot of things really good. And now the Switch, it has a good feel to it. There's a lot of good stuff. But then if you look back, the Wii U almost bankrupted Nintendo. Yes. Because it was kind of crappy. But and now I think that the Atari product is going to have a niche.
Do you still work with Atari? I know you did in
I
the past.
I know the people, but I can't say that I work for them or with them. But always happy to help.
So thank you very much for this interview. It was
I'm
really cool to learn
my
from
pleasure.
you.
Well,
Thank you.
you know, I love Brazil. I just think you guys have so much going for you, and I love your happiness and your fanness. I just judged a bunch of people who brought video game characters to life. Wow. You know, they really did a good job.
I'm pointing out to everyone your shoes. They're super cool, and it changes the lights. Can you change the lights for us? The color of the light.
Yeah, sure. What color would you like?
Now I want. Let's go yellow for Brazil.
Yellow. Well, I don't know what's going on. Maybe.
Green works too.
There's blue, and we have purple. You know,
That's okay.
it looks better when you turn the lights out.
Okay, but I don't think we can do that here. So thank you very, very much.
My pleasure.
Nolan Bushnell, the man.
With my remote control and my electric shoes.